The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Consider myself a conspiracy buff at all, but when they get a lot of coincidences, I get a little suspicious and call me crazy.
Polls, weird talk shows, crazy groups every Sunday telling you what you think.
The Republicans and the Democrats conspire with one another, which they do.
There is a conspiracy by big business against American democracy.
We know that there was a conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
There was no conspiracy.
Was there a conspiracy?
A communist conspiracy directed out of Moscow.
The right-wing conspiracy.
Communist conspiracy is a deliberate and predictable plan of action to subvert the world.
Right-wing conspiracy.
International criminal conspiracy.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Great conspiracy.
There are all these conspiracy theories.
Was there a conspiracy? I don't know.
Perhaps themselves even involved in the conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
No evidence
of a conspiracy.
Anybody would have to be a fool nowadays to dismiss conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory.
Cockeyed conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory exists because there really is conspiracy.
But they never told a soul about it. In fact, they engaged in a vast conspiracy.
Since you get accused of being a conspiracy theorist, of being a paranoid.
The historical context of actual conspiracy.
A conspiracy of bad people.
As always happens at some point in a conspiracy. One night, Cousin Eddie got drunk in a honky-tonk and spilled the beans.
There was a conspiracy, and government was involved in it.
Conspiracy existing within the United States government.
There was a conspiracy.
A
conspiracy by the CIA.
The conspiracy of a few.
Dark, secretive, conspiratorial, evil.
Then it was certainly a deliberate conspiracy.
High-level conspiracy.
The do's and the don'ts and the rights and the wrongs of the various conspiracy theories that are good.
Possibility of a conspiracy.
In a moral sense, I think it was a conspiracy.
One conspiracy, that's all I'm talking about.
Full of speculation, conspiracy theories, and the like.
And what's going on here? You began to wonder what was really happening in America. I mean, was there a vast conspiracy afoot? You know, there could have been a conspiracy.
Do you think you're obsessed with conspiracy?
Conspiracy theory.
A conspiracy.
I'm afraid you'll catch me. I'm afraid you'll catch me.
A conspiracy would do the job nicely.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your favorite Monday night show, and probably your favorite Monday show overall, or favorite show of the week overall, Baseless Conspiracies. I'm fired up right now. Q's back. It's just a great day to be alive. Zach, how are you doing?
They got me today, dude. They got me. I was on the air, okay, and like I had the Q map, not Q map, Q alerts pulled up over here on a different screen, and I was, I was kind of just being like, this doesn't mean Q's going to come back and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's just about this quantum stuff. And then literally the screen pops up and it says new post.
Oh my gosh.
Refresh. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I can't believe this just happened. Because I was all prepared for never to see a new post ever again. And so then I just took a screenshot. Muffin, go away. This is not happening
Muffin,
right now.
Get out of here.
So anyways, I was just kind of giddy just thinking how funny it was and thinking like, oh, okay, so it's just a test that probably just means that they're just checking to make sure they still got access. And it showed that it was still coming from 8kun and the Q research board. And then I posted it in our chat, and then somebody in the chat was like, oh no, Zach, it's just a test. on Q Alerts or whatever site it was, and I looked, and at that moment the screen refreshed, and there was a banner that shows up at the top, and it's like, "Don't pay attention to these posts. This is just me testing the system to see, if we get new posts." And I was like, "Oh, they got me, bro." I was like, I'm erring on the side of caution, but like as soon as I saw it pop up, I was like, "Holy shit, this is sweet."
Well, you're lucky though, man, because even though that wasn't a real post, apparently now anybody posting like edited Q posts count as Q posts now, and the White House website did that. The White House Twitter account posted that, and everybody's like, "No, it's Q." The guy, whoever the intern is running the White House website or Twitter account or whatever, is part of the less than 10, and so we can all sleep easy at night knowing that they weren't trolling us at all. They weren't trolling those people specifically at all. That's how I read it.
Oh yeah,
it was just, this is comms. It's plan and play.
I definitely read it as a troll myself. I mean, and I said that on the air today. I said, obviously the whoever's running the White House comms team, the government, the federal government, they're well aware of the mimetic power. And let's be honest. I mean, you go back to 2015, 2016, and the power of memes is how Donald Trump was elected in the first place. Okay, yeah. It was the mimetic power being used on 4chan, and so much to that. Of course, they're going to integrate that when they have the opportunity. And I wasn't particularly surprised, first of all, to see the White House, getting in on the action, because there have been so many other federal agencies within the executive branch that have done that since they came back for this administration. So, I mean, I was like, okay, makes a lot of sense. There was, but I understand though. I understand people getting, they're hungry for it, right? I mean, people who followed, and I was one of those people. I mean, I was there for every single post. I mean, it's intoxicating, I mean, like when you're thinking like, oh, cool, this is going to start again. And, but at the same time, that the knowledge of that intoxication is enough to give me pause at every turn, because, we've already had long stretches of no posts at all. And it's been 4 years now. So, I mean, I pretty much had given up on it. But the Ronald McDonald one, okay, like as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, guys, listen, Sam Hyde is not part of the plan. Okay. And when he made that video, it was a joke. Like it was, and obviously the White House comms director, he knew that. Okay.
They're all in on it, dude. Like think of the UFO trolling. They had alien.gov, right? And they were teasing that thing.
Yeah.
Like it was going to be UFO disclosure, and they're going to put the bodies up and the spaceships and all that stuff. And it was illegal immigration.
Yeah.
Like technically still aliens, but like they leaned hard into that. They troll this shit out there because, like you said, they know the mimetic power.
Yeah.
But also I think they're making fun of some of these people. But like, because there are people who are full bore, like, look at this drop compared to this drop to the Ronald McDonald Q confirm. They don't say what it means. They don't say like where to go from there, but like there's all you guys just come on.
I think that the White House comms team is definitely trolling the media as well, because they're aware that just as many people are going to be paying attention to that. And, well, no, undoubtedly. Okay. I mean, like President Trump had a fair amount of fun trolling the media on it previously. The couple of times that it was brought up and that he was asked, I mean, he was very coy and he clearly had fun with it. But for the people who believe, even in the media, okay, like throughout my years doing this, I have been contacted by people who were in the media, and that includes people who were looking to do exposés on me and to, kind of diss any of my coverage. And then other people who were like, listen, we all know about this, and many of us believe that there is validity behind it. And it's scary for those people.
That's the thing, dude. There's nobody out there, in my opinion, that's at least like in this part of the truther community, that doesn't see validity to the Q drops.
Sure.
It's the retarded, clownish decoders. We talk about this all the time. And that's what's so funny about this is those specific retards are the ones going around like, see, and can we stop doubting the Q drops now, or stop calling the Q drops fake now? Nobody was calling the Q drops fake, retards. We were calling you guys clowns. We've been making fun of you, not the drops. Get it straight. There is a distinction.
Yes.
They're the ones trying to equate themselves to the Q drops. They can't do it. We can't let them do that because they are completely separate. And if anything, they have soiled them.
Oh,
and
I agree.
maybe my opinion is not valid or worthy here because I never read the Q drops. Whatever. You can see what the Q drops did. You can see the effect they had. You can see the legitimacy behind them. It's the decoders that are taking away from that legitimacy, and that's why I think they did that. Like, you see, go back to what Marjorie Taylor Greene said about, gosh, what was it, 6 months ago or something? She had that post where she said, people within the admin know the reaction they get when they post a Q drop or post a 17 or say something,
right?
And they lean all the way into that because they know you guys will eat that shit up. That's how I see this stuff from them. Now, when they go this far into it this way, they're totally trying to get the reaction they got today.
Oh, I think that they absolutely are. I don't necessarily think that means that they're laughing at the base. I think that they know that people are energized by it, and of course, they want attention around certain things. But I think that the people who are, I would agree with you that there is probably a distinct possibility that there is a tongue-in-cheek aspect of it for the people that they think are going to, take it way beyond its logical conclusion. But overall, I don't think that it's like ridicule of people who are excited about that stuff. That's the only distinction that I would make.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was calling somebody retarded in the chat. So
okay.
I didn't call I didn't call Jordan crazy. I didn't call Josh crazy. I didn't call Alpha crazy. I didn't call X22. I didn't name anybody specifically. I do not consider those people to be decoders. Those are not the people I'm talking about. So don't put words in my mouth, Angie K. You retard. Anyway.
Okay. All right.
What? Go ahead.
No. I was just going to move the conversation along, but
you didn't like me, Max.
No, I don't have any problem.
Max Southwest Patriot for $17 in the chat says, "Oh man, please, John, don't beat up the decoders." For $17, I will do what I please. Please. Angie K continues. She does this every week. I feel like she doesn't like me. I don't know why she watches. No, you call Q people crazy, and they do decode all the time. I am not calling. I'm calling decoders, not Q people, crazy. You guys are the ones like putting all these different definitions into one word, one thing, and they're separate. They're separate entities, separate individuals. When I talk decoders, I'm talking about a very small group of people who you guys probably are aware of that are part of the anti-Badlands op, the lawsuit, and all that bullshit. Specific group of people. Those are the decoders. They're retarded. Everybody else having a separate boat. Sometimes I think the people in that separate boat can be retarded, and we fight about it behind the scenes all the time. And they call me retarded too. It's okay. It's friendly retardation name throwing. You can do that. But don't put words in my mouth. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves is when people misrepresent what I say. That is not what I said.
Okay.
I think I'm done now.
Established.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So should we do our sponsors?
We could. What are we talking about tonight, by the way? Do you want to preface that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So last week, the show that we did on Gate, I've had a number of people reach out to me, and I'm not going to identify any of them. There may be some people definitely there are some people in the audience. There are some people who just happened to see the show and then reached out to me as a result. There was one person in particular who gave me some confirmatory information, things that I have thought, but I had no way to confirm. That is pretty sweet. Definitely going to talk about that. Going to tell a couple of those personal stories that people have sent. And then I've also got a whole bunch of extra information about Gate. Jesus. And lots of new stuff about Gate.
I'm excited about that. Awesome.
Yeah, me too.
Well, let's do this. We have a couple sponsors now. We're going to start with this one. You guys probably all be rather familiar with this.
One hero, one mission, to deliver softness to America.
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude, we have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zach Paine.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows. Moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. Makes you feel alive and let the lotion roll. Soft disclosure. Hear the cry. Maximum softness. Do or die.
Muffin, hit it.
Softdisclosure.com, the best lotion around, supporting the best news network around. Also, guys, very, very excited. Just in like, Zach, you're going to be in Deadwood when?
Wednesday, early afternoon. That's right.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll call
Can't
you
wait.
as soon as I get there. Actually, I'll probably let you know my arrival time ahead of time.
Hell yeah. I'm driving down sometime tomorrow, undisclosed time, but it's going to be fantastic, guys. You got to get your tickets. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. Zach, did you watch the video that we posted in the speaker chat? The jury thing.
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh
see.
man, last couple days I've been putting together a couple videos for the jury experience everybody's going to be having. And man, I tell you what, AI is amazing, and I'm very excited for you all, and I'm very excited for that part of it. The whole conference is gonna be great. We got a great list of panels, obviously, great group. Going to be some great discussions, great fun had, and you guys can join us for that with your virtual ticket. Badlandsmedia.tv/events. Tickets are cheaper now for this conference too. We know everybody's struggling. We get it. We get your emails. People who say they want to support but can't. Times are tough right now, so we lowered the price a little bit. So yeah, check it out. Also, you'll get some behind the scenes stuff and access to the GART chat and whatnot. So. Yorko7 says, John, you are retarded for forcing Zach to go along with your lawsuit battle. Other than that, you're okay. What does that mean?
John's not forcing me to go along with any lawsuit battle. I personally am not party to any lawsuit. I'm also not party to any orders of the court or anything like that.
You may get called as a witness. I mean, I don't know.
I may, but I'm just saying up until this point, I haven't, and I'm not. But I mean, I'm here not only as a participant in Badlands Media, but I'm also friends with John, and I'm friends with everybody else that's here. So, I'm a loyal person. I'm a loyal person.
You are.
And the only time that that loyalty is questioned is when people fuck me over directly. So
yeah.
But I'll never talk about that publicly, because that's also, not my style.
That a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love you, Zach. And I can vouch for your loyalty. It's few and far between these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to our final sponsor a little bit later. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the GAYT program.
Okay, I just saved the video so that I can watch it after the show. All right. So one of the things that we talked about last week was the gateway experience coming from the Monroe Institute. And I actually, well, first of all, the Monroe Institute has a website, and they've been a YouTube channel, and they've been publishing videos there for the last 18 years. And I found, two different versions of the gateway experience and these Hemi-Sync tapes. And I haven't gone through all of them because there's quite literally hours of them. But as an introduction here, first of all, I was going to play just a little bit of this. Now, these are tapes that include binaural beats, but other sounds as well. And there's also a person speaking from the Monroe Institute, and it's meant to guide you through a meditative experience. And I will play a portion of it here.
This is your exercise to achieve focus 10, the 10 state, where your mind remains awake and alert and your physical body is deeply asleep.
Okay, now I should mention, focus 10. This is like the 10th one. Okay, there's like dozens and dozens of them. And different types of experiences to induce with these various tapes.
Interesting.
My voice should be in your right ear at this moment. If not, turn your headphones around so that you are hearing my voice in your right ear.
Those in both my ears.
Oh, really? Well, mine was definitely in my right ear. I wonder if it's coming through mono because...
Probably.
Yeah, because it's coming through just now. This was a different person who had posted it, and it seems like this one, this is like a person who's like all about the experience, but seems like it's mastered slightly better. All right, so this is the beginning of the whatever this series is.
Can you send me this? I want to be hypnotized.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to it, like maybe while I'm at the airport or something like that. But it's fascinating, and let me see. I will send it to you. I can do it on StreamYard. I'll do that there.
Okay.
Private chat, John. There you go. Okay,
Thanks,
there's that one, and then let me send you the other one. And actually, I need to make sure that
I'll send it in the chat too. I mean, I know I want better focus. I want to unlock my brain's focus. That's why I want this audio.
Okay. And then this next one is actually a playlist of each of the individual tracks. Now, these came on tapes. And I
like
don't
cassette tapes?
Like a cassette tape. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that at no point in my life did I ever drive a vehicle that had a cassette player.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. I was trying to think back to this. My first car, a 97 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, it probably came standard with a cassette player, but when we bought it, it had a CD player in it instead. And all of the vehicles I had the CD player in it.
I had a couple of Cutlasses. Cutlasses were great cars. You could get one for like $1,200 and it would just run.
Yeah, those things were fast too. Like,
yeah.
Love that thing.
So cool. Okay, now
until the power steering went out, then it kind of sucked. But prior to that, it was a great car.
Eventually, everything goes out. It's like one of the things that my daughter, who's in her mid-20s, still is learning. Like she's like, I don't know what happened. Like the brakes just stopped working, and I was like, well, have you ever gotten new brake pads? No. Okay, well.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. I mean, slamming on the brakes, working DoorDash, eventually you're going to need brake pads. Okay, so I got emailed by two different people with two very different experiences, but one of the things that I had just assumed is that, well, first of all, we know that Gate was somehow a subproject of MK Ultra, and that was definitely confirmed for me. Like, you're not gonna find anything like having that written down confirmed by the CIA, but we do have that one program that we went over last week, which was intentionally for children. Okay, and that was very early on. What I had assumed and what was confirmed for me is that this program is way bigger than anybody thinks, and not just Gate, but MK Ultra in general. When we were doing the math last week, that somewhere between 3 and 5 million children are going to be enrolled in the various types of Gate, whether it's, and they're called different things like Alpha, Gate, Tag. There's just so many different names depending on what school district you're in. And the experience, although it will have complementary aspects to it, such as, the pink liquid, okay? Or the headphones with the strange sounds, or the puzzles. it seems more often than not that each of those gate experiences are custom tailored for the individual child. And not everybody that enters gate enters into like the advanced stages of it. Okay. So like my buddy Wes that we spoke about last week, you know, he went for, I believe he said it was like a year or two, and he doesn't have a ton of memories from it. But at a certain point, he was given the option to just not go anymore. And he decided not to because he wanted to be in regular school with other kids. But I had kind of forgotten this, but he told me when he called me and asked me if I had ever heard of this program. And he said, I've got a really weird story to tell you. And he tells me about the FBI. He was like, you know, I had completely forgotten that I was even in gate until the FBI agents reminded me and told me about that. And he was like, whoa, you know, and then certain things came back. And, you know, that's when he remembered the pink liquid. And he said, I couldn't quite remember if I drank it or if they put it in my eyes. And
what?
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and here's the thing. Both things could be true. You know, I mean, there may have been drops that were put into his eyes. I mean, certainly that's a way of dosing people with psychotropic medications or psychedelic drugs. You can make somebody trip almost immediately if you just, you know, drop a couple of drops into their eye. And especially if there is like some like hypnotic anxiolytic drug that you're going to be giving somebody, that will very quickly put them into a state where they're very suggestible and they'll, you know, just kind of go along with what you're doing. But in the same way that every experience seems to be tailored, the end result, no matter where they get to, is also highly unique. And what I have found in searching online, looking for people who have had these experiences and been part of these programs, it seems like people are desperate to find people who have had the same experience as them. And well, I mean, people are telling stories and like, does anybody remember this woman with the red coat? Or does anybody remember this exact series of events that took place? And nobody seems to have the exact experience. There are just the commonalities, the similarities, like the pink liquid, the headphones, the gateway experience, the puzzles, and puzzles can be different depending on who you are. And it's because it is all part of a variety of different MK Ultra sub-programs. Every single one of these is compartmentalized, and every single one of them is basically going to be contained to those people who are involved. There will most likely be information that is shared with certain individuals higher up, but I think that it's pretty clear ever since MK Ultra itself was exposed in the 70s, the record keeping of the CIA got much, much worse than it ever was before, because they didn't want to get caught with their pants down in the same way again. And, and so they will take somebody and they will develop them in one way. Like, let's say one person is brought in and they are interviewed, they're asked and they answer a bunch of different questions. Based upon their questions, they will take them in a certain direction. Based upon their IQ, the aptitude that they show, then they might be steered into another direction. And that could be like a super soldier program, an assassin program, political operative program. They could make people become politicians. They could set people up in the medical industry. And I think that's exactly what they've done. I mean, when you're looking at 3 to 5 million kids every single year all around America, I think that right now we are probably talking about tens of millions of kids now adults, okay, tens of millions of people of different ages all across America that have taken part in these programs in one form or another to one degree or another. And again,
I'm surprised more people don't talk about it. I know some people do, but I feel like more people would be having those discussions.
I don't know that remember, Wes was in his mid 40s and he had no conscious memory of the program until the FBI mentioned it to him. And then he was like, oh my God, I remember certain things, but he doesn't remember a lot. Another commonality that I found is that people seem to have very few conscious memories of exactly what happened. They know that they were in a classroom setting. They know that it might have been with a teacher. Who is that teacher? No memory. Don't know who they were. Might have been in there alone. Might have been in there with another kid. Not usually in a large group setting. It's usually, small or individual. And again, I think that is a symptom of the fact that this is an offshoot or a sub-project of MK Ultra. I mean, MK Ultra beginning when it first started out, was using drugs, various type of psychedelic drugs, to induce certain mental states and in order to essentially induce certain behaviors and stuff like that. Basically, how to control people. And there are a ton of different things. Have you ever heard of scopolamine?
Nope.
Okay. Well, scopolamine is
that the dissociative state drug?
Yes, that is.
Okay, I have heard of that.
Colombia and South America. This is they also call it like the zombie drug. You can be dosed with scopolamine in a drink, and your conscious mind will essentially shut down. Your physical body will continue to operate, but you become so suggestive that you will do literally whatever the person that is leading you, whoever your handler is. If it's a hooker in Bogota who wants to rob you, if it's an operative and they want to use you to get information, doesn't matter. You will do whatever they ask you to do. And people who get dosed with scopolamine in South America, frequently they will be like, the last thing I remember was I was at a restaurant. I was maybe at a bar. I was having a drink with a very pretty girl. I wake up 3 days later. My knees are all bloody. My clothing is torn. My wallet is gone and my bank account is withdrawn.
It's crazy. There was, I've been going through, in the off hours watching Criminal Minds just because of that show. I don't know. It just fascinates me. And one of the serial killers in there uses that drug to get people to like kill their significant others. It's crazy.
That is definitely something that you could do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another thing that someone had confirmed for me. I know that I've talked with other people about this, but I don't know that I've ever talked to you about it, John. Have you noticed just how many female teachers across America have in the last couple of years been busted having sex with their students?
Oh yeah, quite a few.
Is that something you remember from your childhood? Like, do you ever in your life remember like the sheer volume, the propensity that this seems to be happening? Because I don't, and I know I'm older than you.
Yeah. I can't imagine. Like, I didn't have any teachers that were good looking. So like,
oh, I mean, I definitely did, but like, they weren't trying to molest me.
I didn't. But even so, like, no, you never heard stories like that back in the day.
No, not at all. But it's something that you hear. Like, oftentimes there will be multiple cases that are being covered like all at the same time. And again, to varying degrees, because a lot of times they only get covered locally. But, when it's like a super hot teacher, that tends to go national because, people have, they're sick. Anyways, what this person told me was that one of the sub programs for MK is they have basically been running that as a program. They have been bringing these female teachers in and controlling them somehow, and then having them engage in like sexual behavior with students. And if these are the cases that we know about, how many other cases are happening that we don't know about, that don't get caught? Because maybe they are trying to bring in those kids into the program using that, sexual gratification or, as a sort of sexual satanic ritual abuse. Not even necessarily satanic, but just sexual abuse is a tool that's used to force dissociation, and they learned that from MK Ultra.
But wouldn't they be able to use like their abilities or whatever drugs to not get caught doing that? Because wouldn't they want to keep that going as long as they can, if they can?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, not every kid is going to react in the way that they plan for them to react. And not every, and here's the thing, go back again to what I said at the beginning. Every case, literally every single case is different. This is not like they have a vague plan, a vague playbook, but not every case is going to turn out exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And there are times where perhaps, maybe that kid never would have said anything, but his mom looked at his Snapchat. Okay. Or maybe his friend took a look at his phone and then stole the pictures and started passing them around. And then the next thing you know, everybody's talking about it. I mean, there are so many different ways that this could happen. But, that is when I was told that I said, Jesus, this is something that has crossed my mind before, because this is not something that ever was happening when I was a kid. And if it did, the teachers were far more savvy and everybody was getting away with it. And I don't believe that's the case. But if you think about it from the perspective that every single year you've got 3 to 5 million kids who are at any given time part of the GATE program, and a certain number of them, not all of them, are advancing through the program. And then as they advance, they are becoming deeper in terms of, their skill sets and their abilities and what kind of operative they are set to be. And then eventually, they go on to do something else. Like with my buddy Wes, I told him, I was like, I think that they were looking to bring you back into the program and to see if perhaps you could be used as like a Manchurian candidate or something like that. Somebody that could be driven to do some horrible act. Because, think about all of the mass shooters or the mass casualty killers. How many of those people are connected to a government program, or they're military, or they're in the care of a psychiatrist who also happens to be part of, some experimental program that can be eventually tied back to a secret MK offshoot or something like that.
Well, are you saying like going through grade school, they're in the GATE program, they get drugged, whatever, they get like implanted some sort of I don't know what you call them, like cues or something that later they can be drawn upon, like, hey, this person could be a target for something.
Yes.
He was in the GATE program. These are his cues. Let's go after him and have him go and shoot up a school.
That is absolutely one possibility. Another possibility is that they are essentially cultured throughout their entire life. They remain in the program, and let's take a look at somebody like Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, how did Mark Zuckerberg just become the Facebook guy when he was in college? I mean,
didn't you watch the movie?
Okay, yes, but Facebook was LifeLog, which was a DARPA program. Okay, so then they just choose Mark Zuckerberg out of nowhere to hand him this program and say, okay, so now you're going to become this tech bro icon, and we just choose you out of nowhere? Absolutely not. Mark Zuckerberg is the kind of autistic genius that they would have already been working on for years, and they plant that story with him. The same with Sergey Brin and what's his name, Larry Page from Google. Okay, I mean, the show that we did talking about the progenitor to Google. I mean, that was another government program, also DARPA. They're not just choosing these people from nothing. These people have been selected, and they've been selected much, much earlier in life, so that when it comes time to activate them and to have them go in one direction, they can do that. And another thing that he said, and this made total sense to me as well, is that when they are developing you, it's like they are controlling every aspect of your life, and you don't even know it. And they can turn a dial, and they can either turn your life up or they can turn it down. Okay. Are you participating? They're going to make your life better. They're going to turn it up. They're going to give you fame, fortune, riches. They're going to make it easier. They're going to turn you into a billionaire, or they're going to turn it down, and they're going to ostracize you, and they're going to make you pay because you've decided that you want to be insubordinate. And that just makes so much sense to me too. You know, I mean, you think about how many people out there have had the opportunity to do the right thing. Well, you know, how can they do the right thing if they've been programmed since the time that they were 6 years old? Or how can they do the right thing if they've been programmed since they were 6 years old and they literally stand to lose everything? And maybe not just them, maybe their family, maybe the people that they've grown to love.
Maybe their mother.
Their
Savannah Guthrie. Did you see the breaking news? Kind of.
Oh my God, no! Is there some breaking news on Savannah Guthrie's mom?
Kind of. Apparently, this was about an hour ago. Apparently, the second note they received back in February said that she had died.
Oh no!
Yeah, the second note said that Nancy Guthrie was dead. They did not mean to kill her, but she died shortly after the kidnapping, according to the law enforcement sources. Contents of the second note were known to CNN and a Tucson, Arizona television station's local news department that received both notes.
Well, that makes sense why it's kind of just absolutely gone away. I mean, why are they going to put a whole bunch of time and money and effort into finding a dead woman? She'll pop up someday.
You know what that makes me think, though, is, okay, so CNN, they receive a letter with information that nobody else knows about having to do with Nancy Guthrie's death, and they don't say any word about it. They keep it quiet, close to the vest, for months, and they're loyal to the Guthries and the police investigation, all that stuff. When it comes to Trump or national security or anything else, they will make up whatever bullshit they can to try to sabotage them, and they will leak classified information at every opportunity, but not with this situation.
Yeah. Okay. Also, with regard to these kids, some of them are, I have no way to quantify the number of kids, but I think we've spoken about and kind of established in a way that, especially within like intelligence connected families, that there's definitely like some type of a familial or a bloodline connection. Like parents grow up to have kids who then also enter the clandestine service. They enter intelligence agencies as well. And I would imagine that that's part of that is that they've also been developed through this GATE program, in a manner of speaking. And, this is one of the things that was kind of talked about as a warning sign of these classes, is that, the higher your class, the more likely it is that you are going to be part of one of these programs. And they suggest it as if, well, people are being selected because they have money and they come from a good family. That's not always the case. There are kids who are definitely chosen from poor, bad families, and they're isolated. Something could happen, like they could be separated from their parents. They could find themselves with no parents at all, and so they end up entering the foster care system, or they end up getting adopted, or something like that. Something to separate that familial bond, because that's going to make them that much more impressionable. That's going to make them that much more vulnerable. I found this account, okay, and she actually has some of her GATE material binders from when she was a kid. Let me go ahead.
I think you showed us one of them last week, right?
I showed one thing last week, but this is different. This is something else, and she's actually got an address for the GATE program in Monterey.
Interesting.
California. Yeah. So she started off by sharing this. She is that girl with the gray hair on Instagram. Okay. And she said, cleaning out old moldy boxes in storage. This came back to me. It may be time to share the story. Where are my fellow GATE kids? So she's got this MPUSD GATE program, P.O. Box 1031, Monterey, California, 939 42. And this book, The Star Inside You, a personal development program for children.
Kind of surprised they let him take this stuff home.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just innocuous enough that it can kind of be dismissed.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know? Yeah. All right. So what can you do when your dimmer says something to dim your star? First, you can remind yourself about your star. Say to yourself, I have a star inside me. My star makes me wonderful. I am an artist. It is good for me to sing, write, draw, whatever your art is. I love my star and my star loves me. It helps me write, to say these reminders over and over. Pick one you like and write or say it several times. Now, I'm sure you remember last week they were talking about the various reasons that people are chosen for the GATE program, not simply because of IQ, although I have an IQ test of somebody from the GATE program that we're going to look at in a moment.
Interesting. Okay.
But you know, there's also people who are simply creative. There's people who are natural born leaders, you know, for any different number of personality traits, they choose these people. And that for me is obviously because we need all of those people in society. And it's also good for the agency to have those people set up throughout every level of society. So of course you're going to want to have a diversity of a diversity of talents and a diversity of types of personalities.
For sure.
Okay, so story. This section of each chapter tells a true story. Before you read the story below, say this to yourself 5 times. I am wonderful just as I am. Good dog Tuck. My cousins have a small dog named Tuck. Tuck is a good dog. He is not like any other dog, but he is a good dog. He's a mixture of many different breeds of dogs. He is white with black and brown spots and has short, slick fur. Tuck loves all of my cousins. The kids can do anything to Tuck, and he would never bite or hurt them. They can roll around on the floor with him. They can hold onto his tail and run behind him. They can even put their hands in his mouth, and he would never hurt any of them. Tuck thinks his most important job is to protect my cousins. If he thinks anyone is going to hurt any of the children, Tuck growls and chases the dangerous person away. It is very comforting to have a dog like Tuck around. The only problem with Tuck is that he doesn't understand about parents and kids. Sometimes he thinks all adults are dangerous to kids. If my aunt or uncle yells at one of my cousins, Tuck growls and tries to chase my aunt or uncle away. One day, my Uncle Dick tried to separate 2 children who were fighting. Tuck ran over to my uncle and tried to bite him. My Aunt Mary had to lock Tuck inside the house so my uncle could stop the fight. Tuck is a great dog. He's a little different, but he's a great dog. Draw a picture of Tuck. That is weird, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now this one is really weird about this book. This book is private. No one should ever see or hear what you put anywhere in this book or on your private tape unless you invite them to. Not even your parents, not even your best friends, unless you ask them to. Look at this, permission to tell your friends, but not your parents.
Weird. Okay.
In this section of the book, you will find things to do to help you learn about what makes you special. Choose one of the ideas that you like and try it. It's very important to write, talk, or draw about yourself every day. This helps you remember all the different things about yourself. This section of the chapter will give you ideas about what to write, draw, or say. You can use a space in this book or talk into a tape recorder. If you want to write or draw more, find another private book or make one to keep for yourself. Very odd.
Yeah, fishy.
Yeah, totally fishy.
Was that the beginning of that book? Was that like the binder they're talking about as the book?
Yeah, the binder. Yeah, and that was all she posted. Now she's got well, that was all that was in this Reddit post. She's got a Instagram account which has a ton of other stuff, but I didn't want to go through her account explicitly or exclusively because I've got so much other shit to show.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did want to show this right here. So this is a training video for parents and teachers and students about how do you tell a GATE student? Like, how would you be chosen? And it's only a couple minutes long.
Okay.
So GATE is the acronym for Gifted and Talented Education. And though many people think GATE is just for students who have a high IQ,
GATE is actually a broader definition. GATE is for students who are high in creativity, have leadership skills, and maybe excelling in performing arts. So in ROBLA, we try to look at all of these things when we look for our GATE students. The ROBLA GATE program is intended for children in grades 3 through 6 with exceptional abilities. It's a special, fast-paced, high-level, challenging classroom opportunity offered to a limited number of 3rd through 6th grade students who are bright, well-behaved, hardworking, and cooperative. We have 2 self-contained classrooms, a 3-4 and a 5-6 combo classroom, which we house at Taylor Street School. Many school districts rely entirely on academic performance to identify their GATE students. Unfortunately, statistics show that students of color and diverse linguistic backgrounds are found to be underrepresented in GATE programs. Therefore, the ROBLA School District utilizes a matrix of criteria to determine GATE placement, and we include students with GATE potential in our program. What this means is
that remember, they not only choose students based upon like scholastic aptitude or artistic talent, but also physical talent too. So they could choose you if you're an athlete or something like that.
The student may not have scores that exceed standards in ELA and math on the CAS, but they can still qualify to be in our GATE program. The process starts with a referral by you, the classroom teacher. Starting in February, teachers of students in grades 3 through 5 are asked to refer potential GATE candidates to the district. To refer a student, a teacher simply completes the GATE referral form. This form is emailed to you and also available on the district website under Forms and Policies in the Student Services folder. Please take a few minutes to think about your students and whom you may refer. The referral process has been streamlined and therefore should be less cumbersome than in the years past. It is important that we hear from you, the classroom teacher, to ensure we are the students in our GATE classrooms. A referral does not guarantee a student will be placed in a GATE classroom. A referral begins the process for consideration. The parents of students identified for potential who could potentially benefit from our GATE program will be notified by the district. The parent then determines if they would like to place their child in the program. I want to thank you for your referral. Our goal, as always, is to provide the best opportunity we can for our students so they can reach their full potential and be prepared.
So they're going to refer these kids, and then those kids will likely be interviewed or given an aptitude test. And then that will determine whether or not they're going to enter. So this is a psychological evaluation, Boise Public Schools from 1991. Of course, you know, the names are redacted, but this was actually part of a FOIA request from some CIA document set.
Really?
Yes. And so they're using the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children revised. This person has a 130 verbal ability IQ, a 141 performance ability IQ, and full scale ability 140. And they go through all of these various markers here, and then they're scored individually. And then those are added up, and that's how you get those specific scores right there. So testing behavior. Subject was pleasant and cooperative through the testing session. He was quick to respond to both verbal and performance testing items. He was able to concentrate and attend very well during the first 15 minutes of the testing. Following the first 15 minutes, he had some difficulty attending to the tasks being administered and began rocking in his chair. He became restless and had more difficulty attending to the details of the visual clues that are part of the performance testing. He was impulsive and had difficulty waiting for the instructions to be completed. He was distracted by the procedure of the administration of the performance subtests on the WISC-R. In the arithmetic subtest, he needed the questions repeated. He had difficulty recalling the numbers that were included in the oral statements. He had difficulty completing his oral statements following the first part of the testing session. These various testing behaviors may be indicators of a child who has an attention deficit disorder. Now, I thought that was interesting because Wes was told, his parents were told that part of the reason they wanted him in there was because of his ADHD. And, you know, I don't know why. I don't know for what reason that would be. But that was definitely, one of the reasons that he had been chosen. Now, I also found this article which details the concerns that parents had about the GATE program itself once they got a look at some of the curriculum. So, gifted and talented curriculum program raises concerns. This is Hillsborough, New Jersey. Parents who were originally puffed up with pride when told by their local public school that their 4th grade child should be promoted into a GATE class became concerned about the content of the course when they read a document that defines its philosophy. It brags that this is a differentiated program in goals and curriculum, and that the class size will be limited to 12 students. The document starts out using all the trendy public school buzzwords: self-esteem, self-awareness, problem-solving, decision-making, higher-level cognitive processes, self and peer evaluation, and self-direction. Page after page instructs the teacher how to give guided imagery exercises under the caption, "Your mind's eye. Room will be darkened." So this is going straight into the gateway process.
Yeah.
Your room will be darkened. Students must find a comfortable position. Eyes may be closed or open. Closed is preferable. Concentrate on slowly breathing, releasing energy from the body. Tranquil scene is the title of one of the imagery exercises. You're standing on a sandy beach. Feel the sand between your toes. See little fluffy white clouds drifting. See yourself sipping your favorite drink. Taste it, enjoy. At the end of the exercise, the teacher is instructed to count to 10, thereby giving the students an opportunity to adjust to returning. So they're basically teaching them how to astral project, and it's like the men who stare at goats, right? Do you remember that when we did that show?
Yeah.
The Stargate program. Okay, so parents worry this is an out-of-body experience if it takes a count of 10 to return to reality. A second instructional imagery exercise called Fruit might substitute for lunch. Sit comfortably, relax, close your eyes, see a large fruit, see yourself taking a bite, hear the crunch, enjoy the taste, smell it. This curriculum is not just a mindless activity to entertain students. It is guided imagery with a purpose. The teacher is instructed to chart names of students, numbers of objects remembered, and specifically what objects each student remembered. For what purpose will the teacher chart this imagery information about each student? To scan it into the child's computer profile. To follow up with psychiatric sessions with the school counselor. Is this how public schools are helping our best and brightest students? Then the teacher is instructed to conduct discussions on sleep and dream theory. Students are told to remember and record a dream and to discuss their dreams and discover how certain parts stand out or are enlarged or diminished or distorted. It's not surprising that parents are demanding laws to protect student privacy. The school seems obsessed with gathering personal information from children. Now, if I might just interrupt here, one of the other things that I was told is that all of this information from the very beginning is cataloged, and it's all part of the individual's pattern of life. Okay. Everything that they are visualizing and the things that they see and the way that they feel guides them towards their eventual placement and the direction of the program. And then once they're out, recognizing the way they live their lives is, for some reason, it's necessary for the watchers to basically understand, what is a person's pattern of behavior? Like, when do they get up? What do they do? Who do they speak with? Where do they go? And I think that this is all about the control that these people on the exterior have over the lives of the child that is in one of these programs. And again, if you're looking to control the direction of a person's life, establishing that pattern very early on is then going to make it possible to sort of carry it on into adulthood and ensure that the direction they go is the direction you want them to go. And go ahead.
Well, what's the youngest they start these kids at? And what's like the latest they'll start them at too? Can some people who don't qualify for the GATE program early get into it later?
I don't know. I've never spoken to anybody who said that they were referred and then they didn't get in and then later they did. I am going to tell a story that I think is going to tie into the sex abuse of with the teachers. But again, they're looking for certain kids for certain things. So continuing, the next exercise is supposed to help students engage in analysis. Indeed, it takes extraordinary analysis to understand why the curriculum calls this exercise abstract communication. Students are told to form a human sculpture, which communicates their analysis in an abstract way. Students get into small groups and create sculptures, making sure that at least one part of somebody's body is connected to someone else's. A statement about a dream could be used to stimulate individual and group sculptures. That sounds cozy. It surely will be more fun than tiresome tasks traditionally given to fourth graders, such as learning decimals, fractions, long division, and writing simple compositions. The fourth grade gifted and talented students are now ready to progress into some heavy learning. Students are taught to use the experimental research technique in a self-directed learning activity related to experimental anomalies. The teacher is instructed to introduce clairvoyance, which the curriculum defines as seeing events taking place far away. Telepathy, designed as the ability to send messages from one person's mind to another. Precognition, defined as depicting events in the future, and psychokinesis, defined as moving objects with concentrated mental energy. Students are told to conduct their own experiments and report their conclusions to the class. Will this information be scanned into the students' computer profiles? Yes. How will the students' work be graded? Perhaps that doesn't matter anymore, since all students get A's and B's to preserve their self-esteem. The federal Javits Gifted and Talented Education Act laid out the vision that the federal taxpayers should give children of outstanding talent some services or activities not ordinarily provided to the schools. Parents wonder if this is what Senator Jacob Javits had in mind when he sponsored the law. Okay, so let me give you another example. Okay, so this is an email that was sent to me by another person who saw our show.
Like a viewer? Like a regular viewer or somebody?
I don't know. It's a person who saw our show. Okay. And they told me what I could say and what I couldn't say. Okay. So let me just go into what they said. Okay. And this is going to be disturbing for people. I think everybody here will be disturbed. And, you know, I would not want to. I don't know the exact nature of what happened, but this person said that they committed sexual crimes during the winter of 1993 to 94 when they were 12 years old. Okay.
Again, on who?
They don't specify, and I don't know because they didn't tell me. They say I was caught fairly quickly, pled guilty, and was put on probation. And I'm not going to say that. During the investigation in January or February of 94, they were given a psych eval. They don't remember much about it, other than they were told after the psych eval that they had an IQ of 128. And they remember that very clearly. But because of the trouble that this young person got into, and I'm not going to say whether it's a man or a woman, this young person got into, the family had to leave the area. They pulled this kid out of school. And in the spring of sixth grade year, they switched them into private school so that they could basically have like a fresh start. And near the end of the year, the parents got a letter inviting this child to become part of the GATE program.
After the sexual assault?
After the sexual assault. After the sexual assault. Now, this had never been mentioned to this child before. The mom was apparently mad because nothing had ever been done or said to indicate that this child was excelling in any particular way, only that maybe there was trouble that they were getting into school. Certainly this incident set their life on a dark course. I don't know if anything happened before that led to this event. I don't know, what the crimes were, but the fact that this child was invited to join the GATE program, and it wasn't even during school year, it was to begin during the summer. And likely it would have been, in my opinion, it probably would have been a one-on-one experience. But they never actually went because they ended up switching schools. And so they saw the show, and, they said, when I was a child and this happened, obviously, things are very different now. This person is a grown-up. They have a family. They are not a recidivist or anything like that. They don't even have a record any longer because they were a child when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find this anywhere. You can't verify it anywhere. And it's not something that they're proud of. Okay.
Of course.
And they said that there was never any testing that they had done at school. There was never an interview process or anything. And they had never even been suggested that this GATE program was an option for them. And they started thinking, maybe I was asked to join because I had been given that psych eval, and there was this charge when they were 12 years old. And that makes a lot of sense to me because
like blackmail type stuff.
Well, maybe anything's possible, but I mean, just think about all of the other sexual abuse that comes along with a variety of different sub-projects in MK Ultra. So much of the scientific studies that were going on at medical schools and at research hospitals, both here and in Canada, had a sexual abuse aspect to them.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how many people grow up in elite families or, end up going to Hollywood or something like that. And like sexual abuse, power, that is always part of it. And those people don't just come out of nowhere. Okay. I mean, frequently abused people will grow up to abuse if they are abused continually, because it's normalized and they're made to feel as if it's just simply what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Even if there's something inside of them that's nagging at them, but then they're like, well, this person loves me. Why would they make me do something wrong? Or, maybe that doesn't even occur to them because it's just so normalized. And this person could have grown up to be one of those people, and you think about what I was told about the female teachers, right? I mean, who knows when those women were indoctrinated and began to be brainwashed and, given this as an idea or made to believe that this is something that they should do. It could have begun when they were kids. It also could have begun when they were in college. Think about like Ted Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski joined a research study. Okay.
Stanford, right?
Yes. And during the course of that research study, he was given mind-altering drugs. Okay. I mean, that's why he dropped out of college. That's why he ended up going and living in the woods and becoming who he was. So there's all manner of ways that people could be brought into this, and the records are not there. The communication's not there because everything is so tightly compartmentalized, and the young people, I think, are isolated from anybody who could stop it from happening. And just the possibilities quite literally are endless. So, I thought that was certainly interesting, and it is disturbing, and I'm glad that person it didn't grow up to be somebody else.
Yeah, I'm glad they reached out. I'm just so curious about so much of this, like how they choose their people. That's just weird. He was 12 he or she 12 years old, didn't get into the program until after the sexual assault. He thinks it was because of the IQ test.
It's not necessarily a man.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Whoever it is thinks it's because did he not have like any sort of aptitude test while he was in school prior to that?
Nothing like that. The only thing was the psych eval and the IQ test. At a 128 IQ, that's probably going to put you at like 96 percentile, maybe 97 percentile, something like that. So you're going to be smarter than the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
And so yes, I think that would immediately put them on somebody's radar. I mean, that's smart enough that they could be used for something.
I also have one more question. And maybe you don't know this, but I'm just thinking like how the private school that I went to, that I worked at, that my kids go to, Catholic school system, they don't get all the same benefits and programs that the state puts forth. Do they have access to like the GATE program stuff, or are they kind of left out of the loop because they're private school system?
Well, the public school system, like basically every public school system has this because it's already baked in with the federal and state funding. However, the private school that I went to did not have this. We had a class that was like 2-year split. So the higher aptitude kids from the lower grade would go into the higher aptitude kids from the upper grade, and we would all learn at a higher rate and at a quicker rate than the other kids. I don't know that was part of anything related to this, but I would suggest that in a private school setting, it might almost be easier, because those schools, and I'm sure require external funding in order to pay for their programs. So there are
a lot of alumni. It's a lot of parishes that that send their kids there, but they also, the public schools, it's government money, it's a government program. I think it makes more sense for obviously them to have it, and potentially the public, like the Catholic school that I worked to, if you had special needs, you had to like coordinate it through the public school system to get support for your child with that.
Right.
Like we didn't have anything because we didn't have the funding for it.
Well, and because they are a special needs child, the state is already automatically going to have money set aside for them. And so they'll integrate it into a public school setting. What I'm saying is that in a private school setting, the children are already better adapted for something like this. The kids are already going to be smarter. The kids are already going to be better behaved. The kids are already perhaps going to come from better families because their families care to pay for them to go to these schools. Now, that's not to say that kids who go to public schools are not smarter. I mean, obviously, a lot of kids are coming from public schools. I think there's easier access at public schools. But a private school could have donor funding coming from God knows where, and there could be a program like this that would be operating in the shadows almost, and plucking the sort of best and brightest out of there. If there is a program in existence. And people in the chat last week were saying, I went to a private school and there was a GATE program there. Again, every single school district, every single school is going to be different.
You just got to keep in mind, Zach, that, poor kids are just as bright as white kids. I think they have every opportunity in the world.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Well, yeah, poor kids are just as bright as white kids. All right. So, thinking about the article that we just read about the parents being weirded out by the curriculum, I do also have a CIA document right here that was released as part of their, I believe this was something related to a Stargate release, but you can see here the pictures of people that they have. They're all children. So this is early access Stargate stuff, okay? Mental communication, first stage, and teaching these kids how to develop their psychokinesis and precognizance, all of those various buzzwords that they were using in that article. Records kept of sender-receiver team success rates as well as personal progress. Mental communication. So these are the different stages that they go through. This is some sort of a presentation, and obviously it's happening in a laboratory setting. Investigating mental communication, if properly managed and conducted, the investigation should take well over a year to perform. The investigation consists of 5 stages. 3 already proven methodologies are used: Zener card method, associative remote viewing, beacon person targeting. The investigation will progress in 5 stages: create a computerized training environment, develop viewer proficiency with the computer, assign associated message traffic, wean the team from the computer, and then move the team into real world situations where they're actually going to be sending these messages across the country. So from Florida to California, right here, mental communication, transfer of message traffic by mental means.
Mental communication.
Yes. So literally just psychic communication from point A to point B. You know, and they already had remote viewing programs that they were doing inside Stargate. What's really interesting to me is that they have spent so much money on all this stuff, and they've spent so much time. I know that this stuff is successful, but when they shut down Stargate, the CIA wrote a report and was like, remote viewing doesn't work. We don't think anybody should do it.
So dumb.
But they essentially just they recompartmentalized it, and then they moved it out from wherever it was. And
they got caught.
Well, I mean, they got caught, but I think that they also expended the research dollars and the need to even do it in the way that they were, because they perfected it. Once it was perfected and it was out of the research stage, there was no need for a pretense any longer. And I mean, think about the tremendous advantage you have, John, if you're the CIA and you've got an entire squadron of super agents who can all communicate with their mind at a distance, who can all see the future, who can all remote view a target inside of a secure facility. I mean, there's no need to even worry about having your communication surveilled if everybody is communicating mind to mind. I think that that's the prize, right? That's the goal. And you don't want everybody in the government to know that you have these abilities. You want to make them think that you have given up on these things as a research direction, because, you know, obviously this is crazy. People can't just talk mind to mind, John, especially not from California to Florida. People can't just see what's inside of that secret folder that you're carrying around through Congress. People obviously can't look into your phone without turning it on and determine that you're having an affair with your secretary, except all of those things are true. They can do that.
I mean, that's still a pretty strong statement. All those things are true. I don't know if I've seen proof of that yet.
No, well, of course you haven't. But
I mean, some of those things are pretty skeptical. Like a whole group of people out there that can communicate with their minds, see through folders, and like see all this stuff without having to actually look at it. Like, color me skeptical, man. That's a little.
John, I guess I'm asking you to think a little bit bigger here, okay, and think about the entire complement of various shows that we've done surrounding this subject, okay, and think about the number of people involved in it,
sure,
the amount of money that they spent on it, the length of time that they did, and then all of a sudden they just decide, you know what, none of this works. Nobody else should even do this research anymore, and we're just going to back away, and we're not going to talk about it anymore. Why would they do that?
I don't know, but that doesn't mean that's not proof.
No, it's not proof.
And that's all I'm asking for. I'm going to be skeptical that these things are possible, and until I see proof. That's all I'm saying.
I have given some pretty outrageous examples, but those in my mind are real world examples of why the CIA would want the ability to do these things and why they would investigate them. Now, what we do have are people who were involved in the remote viewing platforms, who came forward and talked about their specific experience. I saw a video today with Uri Geller in it. Do you know Uri Geller?
No.
Okay, so Uri Geller is an Israeli mentalist, okay? And he appeared on Israeli television today, which is this on a channel that's connected to Netanyahu. And he made the claim that the Iranians are using low-frequency electromagnetic waves to change Donald Trump's thought patterns and force him to behave the way that he's behaving right now. And he was making all these claims, that, it probably happened when he went to China because the Chinese are helping the Russians and blah, blah, blah. Trump has obviously changed on Israel, and this isn't normal, and we need to stop it. We need to save Trump because his mind is being controlled by the Iranians. Okay. Uri Geller was a subject of these programs for the CIA. Okay. And he I mean, he did remote viewing, he did psychic stuff, telekinesis stuff, all sorts of different things related to the types of behavior that I was just talking about. And he's come out and he's spoken about these things before. Here, take a look at this. Testing the psychic abilities of Uri Geller. Uri Geller was one of the individuals experimented on during Project Stargate. Remote viewing research and testing quickly got underway in 1972 at the Stanford Research Institute at California's Menlo Park. Parapsychologists Russell Targ and Herold Puthoff began testing people they deemed as gifted individuals and psychics. One of the best-known individuals examined in the first phase of Project Stargate was celebrity psychic Uri Geller, known for his ability to bend spoons. He would bend metal objects with his mind. On stage, the CIA recruited him because of his purported psychic abilities. For 8 days in August of 1973, Geller was locked in a room while the officials performed various experiments on him to test his supernatural abilities. These tests measured Geller's ability to see hidden drawings, find buried metal, and bend spoons with the mind. As a result of his success during this period, the CIA concluded Geller had demonstrated his paranormal perceptual ability in a convincing and ambiguous manner. All right. Now, what they just described there are the ultimate final boss editions of what that article was describing the teachers would be working with those kids on. Okay. Like, I mean, to be able to communicate without words, mind to mind, to see things that are hidden, to visualize things, astral project out of their bodies. Another crazy thing that I found, a book that was about astral projection, and it was written by someone connected to the CIA. I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me, but it was talking about these people from these programs. When they would leave their bodies, they would, go places, but there seemed to be, again, these shared experiences. There was like a collection of shared environments that people would find themselves in. And one of them was like a never-ending shopping mall, kind of like the back rooms, which just blew my mind because I just saw the back rooms last weekend. And it's
back rooms?
The back rooms.
What's that?
The back rooms? Oh my God. The back rooms is this creepypasta from 4chan where it's the idea of liminal spaces. Like you enter into this like cavernous and never ending series of hallways and rooms that look like kind of like a strip mall from the early 1980s. And so it just keeps going. And as you go in deeper, it gets more and more surreal. And eventually there's like monsters and crazy shit. You got to see the movie The Backrooms, dude. It was so good. But the place that they were describing, it seemed like the Backrooms. And then I went and I found accounts of other people who were describing this like mind mall environment. And I was like, that's like stupid. I was like, somebody is just making that up because they read about the Backrooms or they saw the Backrooms or something like that. But those accounts go back years. And this book was written well before the creepypasta of the original Backrooms ever came online. And again, it was written on 4chan. 4chan definitely infiltrated with various aspects of the intelligence agencies, whether it's Mossad, CIA, whomever. And, I personally think that the human mind is far more powerful than we are led to believe. And one of the reasons they don't want us to understand what our true limits are is because in a society, John, where people have those abilities, trust isn't necessary.
Yeah.
Because you know someone's character, someone's motivations, if they're planning to hurt you, if they're planning to take advantage of you. Now, that is, again, extremely valuable if you are an agency asset or if you're an agent or something like that. If you have that as an upper hand over the general population, I mean, you're the winner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt anything you're saying. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. Again, for me, as my role on the show, as most people, maybe we got some new people watching. We got a pretty good crowd tonight. my role on this show is to be the skeptic. And while everything you're saying is compelling and interesting, and I understand it, I get it, I just also haven't seen any actual proof of any of it. So I can't get on board with it. That's my job, Zach.
I know it is. For next week, I will do my best to find physical evidence of telekinesis, psychic communications. That's what I will focus on for next week.
Okay.
All right.
Well, actually, next week we're probably going to be doing our GART recap stream.
That's right. So that's great because that gives me 2 weeks to figure it out.
Yes, 2 weeks to figure out. We do have one more sponsor we got to get to, but
that's fine.
This is probably a pretty good spot to.
I've got more too, dude. I've got a whole bunch more CIA documents. I'll just save everything. Okay.
Okay. Let me pull up our sponsor here. Let me just make sure I get the right one. There we go. All right. Quick question, everybody. How much control do you have over your own money right now? Because I'm about to give you some free money. Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's going mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype. It's just where things are going. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, hold dollar-backed stablecoins, even own digital gold backed by real gold, all in one place. It's a non-custodial wallet, which means you, not a bank or a platform, control access to your accounts. Setup is super simple. Connects with MoonPay so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in just minutes. And now for the free money part. For a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in US stablecoins. That's USAT. By downloading the Rumble wallet and entering our exclusive promo code here, Baseless10, when you sign up. On here, it says it's with a capital B too. So capital B Baseless 10. You can even use your Rumble wallet to support those of us here at Badlands Media directly. But free $10. All you have to do is scan the QR code, click the link in the description, or go to wallet.rumble.com/baseless. Download that Rumble wallet. From there, you can set it up. Use promo code again, Baseless10, to get free $10 in US stablecoin. It's a limited time offer, so act now. If anybody ever wanted free money, I don't know who hasn't. Now's your opportunity to do it. Wallet.rumble.com, promo code Baseless10. Super simple. Oh, I was going to say one more time, we should probably promo GART. But if you have something else you want to add, you
I do. Since Q became a topic today, let me just show you the last real post that Q put out. Okay, post 4966. This was January 27th of 2022. What is coded in your DNA? Who put it there? Why? Mankind is repressed. We will be repressed no more. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Information is power. How do you protect your DNA? There is a war for your DNA. Protect your DNA. Ascension. So I think that this points to the point that I was trying to make earlier. I mean, obviously, God created us. These people who seek to control us, they seek to control humanity at the most granular level, at the DNA level. Now, right around this time, of course, there was a lot of conversation about the jab and how that was potentially changing people's DNA. And it has. I've shown the evidence on my show before. There are people now who are just beginning to find themselves entering stages of terminal illness. Doctors don't know what's wrong with them. They have not been able to identify any known cause of disease, but people are falling apart. They are wasting away. And I think that their DNA is literally degrading. And there may be some people whose DNA recoding has been successful in a dangerous and nefarious way. And then others, I believe, have been reworked essentially to hasten their death. And I think that the super soldier programs that the government has had, whether it's us here in the United States or other places around the world, there has definitely been experimentation whether it's with, CRISPR, adding new genes into people's genetic code, or augmenting them with external electronics or things like that. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that stuff in the coming years. And I think that, to my point, humanity has abilities that have been kept from us. And whether it's just by nature of the fact that we don't have the information, or we are being fed poisons which are dulling our minds, making us slower, making us stupider, or stealing our confidence, so that we'll never try to be anything other than what we are. Doesn't mean that we are attempting to make ourselves gods among men, but I think that God inherently wrote powerful abilities into us, and we just don't know it because we've never had the opportunity to develop them. But some people have, and those people are the ones who came from this program. Not all of them, but some.
I've definitely heard people talk about this before and totally buy into it. Our true capabilities and what we can do with our minds and bodies and whatever. They've been kept secret from us. We've lost the ability to figure it out, or at least most people have.
Yep.
And they want to keep it from us. Totally buy into that. Whether or not I've seen any proof of it, though, that's the other question. And again, why I'm playing skeptical. So I'm looking forward to the next time we do this show and you bring that stuff, bring the receipts, because I do like me some receipts.
I like it too.
Let's get to one more thing real quick, or another reminder, guys. Starting this, well, actually, we'll probably start bringing some stream to your content to you in the Telegram chat on Wednesday. We are doing our conference this weekend in Deadwood, South Dakota, the Great American Restoration Tour. I think this is our 12th conference, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It comes pretty quick when you do 4 a year. But you go to badlandsmedia.tv/events. We still have single day tickets available, but you can also join us virtually. You can watch the whole conference. We're going to have 10 panels plus a little extra kind of side jury thing, which is going to be real fun. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's a new twist we're adding to it. On top of that, we're going to be doing the exclusive streams from the event, the VIP dinner, the welcome reception. We're going to have potentially 2 power hours that are live, because I think we're all going to be there Wednesday. Me, Chris, and Bernie Bright. We might do that one on Wednesday live too, but definitely the one Saturday live from the stage. It's a great weekend. A little golf outing we're going to be doing. If you want to join us and join the Telegram chat, so you get to hang out and talk to a whole bunch of like-minded individuals, and kind of like in the chats we have going on Rumble right now, got to get your ticket. Virtual ticket, badlandsmedia.tv/events. We lowered the price for this conference because we know everybody's hurting. Highly encourage you to get that thing because the conference is this week. Big shout out to 1027JS over on the Badlands Boost website. Left $20. Says thanks and happy guarding. Thank you so much. In terms of Rumble, we got a few here. Snowcat Operator gifted a subscription, and it showed up 10 times, but it was just one time.
Oh, wow. I thought that it was 12 in 12 individual subscriptions. That's crazy. Okay.
Sometimes the caching on this, I don't know, it's like broken and it shows it multiple times. Mac SW Patriot says for $17, excuse me, oh man, please, John, don't beat up the decoders. Sometimes it's deserved. Gotta do what I gotta do. Sorry though. Hope I didn't hurt your feelings. Hammer Guy 35 says for $10, a little help for the retarded legal bills. I very much appreciate that. This is very much needed. MMTX3 for $17 says Q is a psyop, some good, and by necessity, some misinformation.
Yep.
Does help wake folks up. What is up with Flynn regularly calling it Blue Anon in interviews? Reconcile. I think when he says Blue Anon, he's referring to lefties and some of their conspiracy theories.
That's exactly what he's referring to. Yeah.
In terms of Q waking people up now, I guess I'm only skeptical because it depends on where they're getting their information, like who are they following. Like there's nobody waking up to the Q decoders at this day and age, but there might still be people waking up from the drops themselves. Like I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Again, separate things, as I said earlier. Boom Diggity for $50. Thank you so much. Says, according to Dr. Juliet Engel, it is a bloodline thing for the goats and the sheep in the MK programs, or not of the bloodline group, aka the Expendables.
Dr. Juliet Engel is a friend of mine, and I've interviewed her several times. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the Boom Diggity again says for $10, the Stargate program released documents. There's I think
I actually had that one ready to show, so we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, awesome. And then Focus Trip rated the stream. Oh, actually, I missed another. But thank you so much, Focus Trip. The Boom Diggity left another $50. Says schools love collecting data on students, especially in current times. Please read about surveys in students in public and private schools. Opt out for your child. Totally agree. Thank you for all the rants tonight, Boom Diggity. Very appreciated. The Republic Review rated the stream. Thank you so much. It looks like Dragonfly Sister, this is accurate. She gifted 2 separate sets of 10 subs.
Oh, wild. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dragonfly Sister. That is greatly appreciated. And with that, sir, I think next time I'll see you, it'll be in the hills of South Dakota.
I'll be there.
The African American hills of South Dakota. We'll be there. It's going to be amazing. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up here and over on YouTube. It really does help the algorithm. And somebody asked yesterday, we're growing over on YouTube, and it's been very helpful. So we appreciate that. But also do it over here on Rumble. Zach, it's been a pleasure, as always.
Always great. Also, one final $17 rant from Mac. No feelings hurt. Love you guys. Do we have Brinks and minifigs coming up soon? Charlie Kirk connection and Q connection is great. I mean, other than the fact that Mormons are involved, I'm not aware of the Charlie Kirk connection. There is so much happening like on a daily basis with the bricks and minifigs thing. I think I kind of want to wait because I do think that it's going to be resolved here in at least the next couple of months. So yeah, I kind of want to wait until it's all till everything's out.
We'll get to it. Just give us a little time. That might be. I've been kind of following that one, probably not as close as you, Zach, but I'm definitely willing to like read into that one a little deeper, and maybe whenever we get to that, I'll be the one that does that one.
Okay.
But all right. With that, everybody, we'll see you next time. Zach, thanks again.
See you guys
later.